Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Level Up Hour here on OpenShift TV. I am Chris Short, executive producer of OpenShift TV, and I am joined by the one and only, the illustrious Langdon White. Langdon, how are you today, sir?
Not too shabby. We, as always, are concerned about our coffee intake.
Yes.
But I was just talking to my wife, whose idea was it to do a 9 a.m. show exactly? And then I realized I think it was mine.
Yeah,
So,
it's
so,
all it's all your fault.
so I think it is my fault. So today is the level up hour. Let's introduce quickly with the slides,
Yes.
because everybody loves some slides.
Yeah.
Um, who was I talking about slides with the other day? I don't know. But so this is the level up hour where we talk about why containers are fun and amazing, and show you how to, use them for kind of your everyday stuff.
Exactly.
And then kind of by extension, why you might want to orchestrate them using something like OpenShift when you run into kind of the growing pains that you might run into with using containers directly. Although I've actually had a bunch of discussions lately on the show, I think even about discussions where, sometimes you actually just want to do orchestration with like Podman and YAML.
Right.
And that looks like it's going to get even better in Podman
Mm-hmm.
v3. So
I'm really excited for Botman 3. Yeah,
yeah,
very much
so
so.
I was gonna say like let's do the slides and then I want to talk about some like announcements. But so find us on Twitter. I'm Langdon with a one, and Chris is Chris Short, all one word. Um, you don't have to get the casing right. We just do that so it's readable.
Mm-hmm.
And you can join us on our Discord. We're usually around, and that's it seems to be the cool kids hangout place. It is. I don't know. It's a trade-off against Slack, but it still has the
It has the voice capabilities that are like
yeah,
easier to
yeah,
use than Slack, I feel like. But yeah, it
right.
is, it's pick your messenger du jour, right?
Right,
Like,
right. My one of my children actually just hangs out like basically as soon as school is done, jumps into Minecraft, hangs out with his friends, and it's been actually a real blessing in the kind of pandemic scenario where he can't go see his friends, but he is literally on audio and chat with them, for hours at a time when they're all kind
that's
of playing Minecraft. They talk about schoolwork, all this stuff. It's really quite interesting. Um,
wow, that is interesting. What
yeah,
a
it's
great
like they're
like
chit chatting
little
and stuff too.
like
Yeah,
community they've built. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
They have some people who kind of come in and out. It's really, like I said, quite interesting. There's
Mhm.
like a whole sociological study to be seen, I think, in this environment. That
Oh,
if
absolutely.
yeah, if I was in that educational field, I think it'd be interesting. So JP Dade makes an interesting point, but let's got to get through the slides. All right, so um, today, we apparently terribly named the level up hour in the
It's not
cloud.
terribly named. I
Yeah,
came off of 4 days of PTO and I was super confused when I saw the intro graphic
right,
for this
right.
episode.
Yeah, so I got it from somebody else too. They were like, "Wait, so are you doing like a crossover within the
Right.
clouds?" And I don't know if anybody ever watches. I think it's the CW channel, but they always hype like crazy their crossover event shows.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and so maybe we need to do a bunch of some
Some
crossover events on
crossover
the
shows. I would
OpenShift
welcome
TV.
that. I'd be
Yeah,
all for that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that should be but what we're actually talking about today is the developer sandbox, which is a way that you can for free check out the developer OpenShift kind of in the cloud in a way where you click a button and it goes instead of having to build it yourself.
Mhm.
um, and so that's what the in the cloud part is, but you got to get those buzzwords in there. You got to drive that traffic.
Right.
So cloud,
Cloud.
synergy,
Oh no,
whatever.
no, don't
Yeah,
start that. No,
I did
please
say I
don't.
spent a lot of time in consulting.
Uh,
So the other thing is, as I try to do every week, or every episode, I try to do show notes. um,
and we appreciate those show notes. Yes, we do.
so I missed whatever. I was like 2 weeks behind or something. So I kind of banged through those, and I just linked them not very prettily in the chat. But there they are a little bit more nicely. So go check them out. File an issue, filing problems. Like I said, I try to recap what we talked about, and then at least for me, somewhat more importantly, I try to also give reference links. So if you want to know more about a particular subject, go here, kind of thing. So that's it for slides, because the next one is the internet points. So we won't show those yet. But I did want to, like I said, make a couple announcements. So first and foremost, we are dark next week.
Yes.
For no particularly good reason, except that it's St. Patrick's Day, and that's a very popular holiday normally in my community, like in my neighborhood. But
is that actually the reason?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
are you taking the day off?
Well, I was not even. It's kind of funny.
Okay. But, like, is it going to be like a huge block party kind of thing?
Well, so there normally would be. We have one of the biggest parades in the country, usually next week.
Like on your street, right?
Yeah, like it kind of goes like not down my block, but the next block over. And so it's it's a big deal. But given pandemic, everything's canceled. I guess maybe it was some level of hope. I don't know. So we, yes, JPD, there are Irish people in Boston. But what's particularly funny is actually when I moved here, and I've been here, I've been in this neighborhood South Boston for 15 years now. That apparently there are bartenders and like wait staff that fake an Irish accent because they get better tips. Because they're Irish for the neighborhood. Yeah, which I think is hilarious. More power to them, don't get me wrong.
It's interesting that they get like not called on it, right? You would think
well, I mean,
clearly they've been practicing, so good for them.
Well, and clearly Americans are excellent at recognizing accents, or anything outside of America.
Hell, I can't say half the words in the English dictionary because of my upbringing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was pretty funny. But so dark next week, but the week after, we are going to have on the show one of the lead architects, Brent Bowdy, of Podman V3. And so we are very much looking forward to that. He's a really good guy, for one thing, and it should be really interesting to talk about what's new in V3, because we are very excited for it. I think, we talked about it a little bit was it last episode we had Daniel Walsh, or the one before that?
I think it was the last one.
Oh, it was the one before that, because we did subscriptions last time, and before that we did SE Linux. And he was talking about, because my big question about V3 was why 3, like what made the X bump, and it's really about the API interface. But from a user perspective, or the casual user perspective, there's a ton of new features, so we're really looking forward to it. And Narendev asks if Irish people speak English or Welsh. Actually, they speak neither. They speak Irish. They usually also speak English. But
seldom would they speak Welsh.
Yes. The Welsh speak Welsh primarily. And but I think if you were kind of standing around and there was one group of people speaking Welsh and another group of people speaking Irish, I'm not sure you'd be able to tell unless you knew one of the languages.
It's like what is it, German and Dutch? It's like close,
right.
Like
so
one is
a lot of
similar
sounds.
Kind
of, So and then we have. Oh my! Hey, Mo, how's it going? So we have Mo Duffy, who actually speaks Irish on the show, and is making comments in the chat in Irish.
Wow, good job. I just translated that.
The thing I learned actually relatively recently is, I guess, and feel free to correct me, I can't quite remember how this works, but so like Gaelic is not Irish. Gaelic is
different.
Yeah, like I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. That's not what the show is about.
Moving on. This is not an etymology or linguistic show. But so even though we get into all kinds of random commentary, so JP Day did bring up another point kind of very early in the chat, which was we should write up the discussion about we had quite some time ago on one of the episodes about V8 and about using and I don't mean the tomato drink, I mean the
engine.
The engine,
or actually the engine,
for JavaScript, and about getting that on RHEL. So apparently that is not a well-known subject.
Mm.
So yet another thing for me to add to my list of things to do. So we're like I said,
you have a team of people
right
that
where
are they're all right there in the channel with us.
Yeah, that's true. I would love to see JP Dade write us a blog post about it, and I will make sure it gets published.
Yeah, like
and maybe we'll even put
we can publish them.
A level up our code on it, and then people can get points for going to read it.
But I know JP Dade is busy, and like that's I said,
true.
like we have a team literally of people that we work with that could help us with that too.
That's true. That's true.
The developer advocate team could certainly take that on, and I feel like maybe faster than you could potentially.
So okay, long story short, talking about Developer Sandbox today. So my inclination is to share, and we're going to try to have both of us play with this today, which is not our normal kind of scenario. But so I'm just going to do, I obviously have some stuff already set up, but I'm kind of going to do what all of you all would do. And
log in.
Oh, not even. I was going to go further back than that. Hold on one second. Let me share.
Yeah, so the Dev Sandbox, we've talked about it, I think, briefly on the show before, but if you want to get your own 2-week instance of the full OpenShift, container platform, go to the link I just dropped in chat, and you will be able to just log in with a free developer, Red Hat developer login, and off you go.
But given the likelihood that oh boy, am I on mute?
Nope. No, you're not on mute. You're good.
But given the likelihood you're going to forget that link, do what I do, which is you Google Red Hat Developer Sandbox and look at that, the first result. And so if you are here, you will not immediately see this. This is because I've already kind of engaged it. But basically what you have to do is you kind of log in. If you don't have a developer sub, it'll make you fill out some T's and C's, that kind of thing. It's pretty low barrier to entry. I think you can also social log in, where social is GitHub, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So use whatever you like. I just from my own experience, I have always created like personal email address based developer logins, because then they can survive like leaving companies or coming back to companies. Exactly. So like I said, your mileage may vary, but here's kind of how you get going. But then you say start using your sandbox, and this is going to go much faster for me in theory than it will for you, because I already did it once today. So hopefully it will come along pretty quickly. And one thing I did want to point out is that there was another show entirely about the Developer Sandbox. I don't know, maybe a month ago.
No, it was less than a month ago. We've done a couple, not sessions with the Developer Toolbox, but we've talked about it on many shows.
Okay.
So don't it's a known thing on the channel, but this is our first time just kind of getting in and just digging into it.
Right. So the first thing that I want to point out is that so my username here is just Langdon, and so it generates 3 different what are called OpenShift projects. We've talked about these before, but it creates this code one, a dev one, and a stage one, to try to kind of start to set up that CI/CD kind of scenario for when you want to build something out. I don't think we're going to get that sophisticated into it today, but the idea, that's kind of the idea. But the first thing I think I was going to show.
Well, can you do me a favor and do this for Narindev real quick? Click on your login name.
Say that
on
again?
The top right.
Yep.
Your login name. Click that down arrow.
Yep.
And then Dev Sandbox.
Right. Yeah. One thing, this is annoying. I know this is in progress. Make sure you click Dev Sandbox.
Yeah, that's the big thing in all of this. So don't click that. Narindev, if you click that display token thing, it will give you your credentials for the command line. You don't have to set any environment variables or anything like that. You can just go ahead and log in. I actually just did that.
I was trying to think how I could Yeah, I was trying to think what it's
can't
just how to
really.
show you what it'll show you without showing you.
Well, I mean, I have like it on my screen, but I would want to like scroll off the actual command I ran.
Or
But
like mess up the token.
uh, yeah, I could maybe do that. But like it here, I can share a screenshot just as easily as I can share anything else. But essentially, it's an OC login with a unique token to a server path. And it tells you like, boom, this is your thing, that you're
Right.
running on 6443 as, for me, C short using the token provided. And you have access to the following projects and can switch between them with OC project name. And you have 3 projects that are created, your login name, -code, -dev, and -stage, thinking through your, deployment process.
Exactly.
And you're default logged into the code project.
No, actually, weirdly, or at least for me, it always comes up with the dev project. It always comes up in the middle. I don't know why. So one other thing I wanted to point out too is it's always a good idea under this question mark to go to command line tools here and get
the right version.
OC here, right? Yes. And so we talked about this a few episodes ago with the OC clients. What did I call it? OpenShift clients container, so that you could actually switch between them. So that's one. That's kind of another approach to the same thing. So somebody asked in the chat about pricing. So, JP did kind of answered it. So there is a developer subscription now. That developer subscription, actually, I mean, it's been around for years and years, but that developer subscription now includes 16 production installs of RHEL, but it also includes access to actually a ton of content in the customer portal, as well as a ton of content on the developer site. I don't know how much of the developer site is actually paywalled. And when I say paywalled, I just mean you have to log in first. And then also gives you access to this developer sandbox. All of these, that subscription is currently no cost subscription for everyone, and so you can kind of just go sign up for it. But it kind of includes all those different things, and I know there's lots of plans to add more. So hopefully that answers the question, but basically, it gives you a way to get RHEL and the sandbox, and like I said, also customer portal access. So definitely go check it out. So I'm just kind of looking at the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments too, trying to find the link to where you can just get the RHEL instance like details.
There's there was a big announcement about it, but basically, actually what we talked about last week, which was cloud.redhat.com. In here, you can actually, I've actually never gone in this way, so let me see if I can figure out how to do it. So there is this thing in here which is called Subscription Watch, which, here it is. You can actually go and see how you are consuming your subscriptions. And whatever, I don't have anything in this account or whatever, but long story short, those subscriptions should show up here, and along with like insights, and you can kind of see your status, and then you can kind of look at killing off a subscription. Like, so one of the things we talked about on the show last time was the problem, especially amongst developers or anybody who's like experimenting, is you spin up an instance of RHEL, you attach a subscription to it, then you ice
do some stuff.
Then you do some stuff, and then you blow away the VM, and you forget to detach the subscription.
Right.
And so now one of your 16 is in use for some period till it times out, essentially.
Right.
So what Subscription Watch lets you do is kind of like fix all that, but from you don't have to still have the VM, all that stuff. So that's kind of the idea behind this tool chain. And you can get to a bunch of these tools under cloud.redhat.com. If you are not doing a live show, it's a lot easier to read these words and therefore find this stuff. But when I'm doing it live on the show, I forget where different stuff is. But you can manage. You can actually install OpenShift from here. Like there's lots of different stuff you can do here. I highly recommend it. It does a lot of nice stuff. Red Hat Insights, which tells you kind of about your deployments,
all kinds of problems.
And so you can use this personally as well as use it like as a corporate account.
Right.
And I think this is the kind of thing that it doesn't occur to people to use personally or like as an independent entity, for your own stuff. But it should scale down to kind of a regular user. It's not just for 47 billion installs of RHEL. Yeah,
47 billion, huh?
Yeah, that's a technical important number.
Can you grab the link and drop it in chat for
sure.
It's just cloud.
But I do like that it's just cloud. Yeah,
cloud.
Yeah. Typically we would have to write Red Hat hybrid, enterprise advanced in front of it. But this time we got away with just cloud. Okay, so
yeah, keep going. I'll answer the questions in chat. Just
yeah. And so we go back to Developer Sandbox. And what I wanted to show was first and foremost, but now I think how to get to it, is going to what's called Code Ready Workspaces, which is a derivative or it's the product version of an upstream project called Eclipse Che, which from an experience perspective is actually very, very similar to Visual Studio Code. So if you, but it's kind of all, in the cloud. So your current code status is always there. And now I'm completely blanking on how you get to it. Do you go? No, not there.
Operator Hub. You got to go
right,
the application view or whatever. Yeah. Administrator.
So.
Oh, Operator Hub's not on here.
Oh, right. Okay. So this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. So let me digress for a minute. We'll talk about operators. Often is the case is that operators are highly privileged things. And so as a result, there's...
Marin Duffy says, go back or just look at the 9 box thing next to the plus sign and question mark in the top right-hand side. The 9 box thing.
Oh, 9
boxes? The little boxes.
There we go. I was like, I know it's somewhere really obvious. I was just like, I cannot, I can't think through it.
There you go. But yeah, sorry.
All right. So let me just mention the operators part. So usually they're very privileged. The thing that I find a little confusing about the term operator is that you actually do have access to a bunch of operators, just not certain kinds of operators. So if you go back like in here, you can get, I don't know. I get a little confused about what we're going to call operator versus not operator or whatever. So like you have some of these things here. So like if we say, so I guess it is missing the operators altogether. So that's where I think we're still struggling with like how to make a shared environment be able to have this kind of newish feature to OpenShift of the operator. Operators are really nice because they have, your SRE experience embedded in the code base itself. So I can always just, and we've done this before. Let me see if I can get it from the catalog because it'll be prettier. No. So if we go to the Red Hat Marketplace container registry something URL, if we go here, we can find things like MariaDB. And so here is MariaDB 10.3. We've used this on the show before. It is a pre-built container. And we have a bunch of different versions for target deployment environments. But what we can do is, I'm just looking for the right link, this one. but we might need to embed a secret. But
right,
we can say like this. And then just leave all that alone. We will not create a route. And so then we can kind of go get a MariaDB. I'm not sure if it will already have pre-configured the secrets to be able to log in to the container catalog. So it may fail, but we can fix that. And it looks like it did fail. Yeah, so we can fix that the same way we did in the past. But the point being is like, you still have this whole catalog of content. It's just that there's this shift going on, kind of moving from pure container images like this one to operators, which kind of embed more functionality. So we can see there's also, I'm sure, a bunch of Maria. Come on, really? Is this really going to fail me today? Yeah, so, okay, so there's MySQL. I wonder if we're going to get, I wonder if we got a different, if we get a different result if we tried operator hub.io. So here's the MariaDB operator. This is a, oh, it's actually listed as alpha, version is current. So this one's pretty early on. We may not want to use this one quite yet without some expectation. But the idea being is that it keeps track of itself, right? And it will do, as you can see here, it will do seamless upgrades of MariaDB. It'll do full backups. So all these operator things that you do to a database that you don't get if you just kind of go after the container image, because the container image is just MariaDB itself. So you can still seamlessly upgrade it. You can still seamlessly back it up and all those other things, but you have to write all that code or put in all those operations. So that's kind of the difference between like a container and an operator. The problem is that with the shared deployment environment, an operator is hard to set up. That was a lot of talking.
Yeah. And the question in chat is, what is that button actually called? It is in theory called the application launcher in OpenShift, but it is still considered a hamburger menu, according to Serena from the future.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, the little 9-box dealio. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. See, because I think of this as a hamburger menu because it looks like a hamburger.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send her a screenshot and just say like arrow that thing just to make sure you're fucking right.
If it was truly Fedora though, it would be a hot dog menu. Or we could really get esoteric and call it a sandwich, and then get everyone angry.
We could call it a sandwich. Is a hot dog a sandwich is the question.
Well, or is a taco. All right. So I don't know why I'm getting this, in fact. Because I have used this before, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. Maybe I was using a different account, which is certainly possible. The problem when you use accounts at your own workplace is you tend to have 6 of them. Okay, so Code Ready Workspaces, like I said, this is like an online IDE. I think it feels really similar to Visual Studio Code. So if you like that, speaking of Node.js, we can do a kind of pre-planned project in a sense. And it's going to think about it for a minute. And just keep in mind, you can go get Code Ready Workspaces yourself to deploy yourself on your local environment. I think, actually, while we're waiting for this to cook, we can look. Oops. I don't know if is there a bundled download, or do you always do it as an operator on CRC?
I always do it as an operator.
Yeah. Okay. You can also just download it. for like kind of directly, but basically that includes CRC. So what happens is CRC is code ready containers, which is kind of like a single laptop install of OpenShift. And so what it does is it kind of sets that up and then it puts code ready workspaces on top of it as an operator. So it should be the same exact experience. It's just kind of like how you get it. Node.js apparently is bigger than a breadbox.
Who knew? And Narindev just dropped in chat, due to popular demand, this is from their website, I'm assuming, due to popular demand and repeated signups, we are increasing the free trial period to 30 days. So that's good to know. Thank you, Narindev. Appreciate that. JP Dade says there is an upper limit on the number of operators namespaces you can install on one cluster. I have hit it, and it is giving me a timeout when I do something. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these instances aren't huge, right? Like,
No,
not
yeah.
like your, typical like 6 node, hundreds of, dozens of CPU kind of instances. Okay, a lot of discussion about the icons.
I made it angry because I got ahead of it.
Oh boy.
So yeah, okay, let me just delete mine because that will collide. I kind of wondered why there was no files dropping in. Okay, so if you know anything about Node.js, this is a pretty basic setup for Node.js. And so I kind of did a quick start, right? So that'll give me like a base Node.js application. But I believe we should see it already over here, and we do. Well, here's my broken MariaDB. We'll just kill that. But then we have now Node.js that has been created over here. And assuming it has fully deployed, theoretically, we can get to my terrible new getting started website. Oh, no, fail.
Such fail.
Such fail. I'm
still digging up answers to questions for folks. So if you're in the chat, just
everyone's very chatty today.
Well, they're asking very good questions that require research, which is awesome.
You should just know all the things at all times, right?
I know, right? But yeah, the questions are great, so keep them coming. Thank you.
All right, so this should be working. I don't know why it's not working. So yeah, it's doing, here's a service port. It has a route. Why doesn't it load? Let's look at the logs. Logs are always good. JP Dade has his own level up our shirt. I wore mine last episode, I think, or maybe it was the one before that. I realized. I'm not sure
which one before that. I almost wore mine today, but it was like further back in the rotation.
In the shirt
yeah,
locker.
It was like, well, here's what I do. It's kind of lame, but it's like, I have like my deprecated shirts or almost deprecated shirts, right? Like I know which ones I need to throw out based on how far to the right they are.
Yeah.
So all my work polos, far right.
yeah. It's tough when like I had a really good shirt, and then the company did some very bad things, and I was like, but now I can't wear the shirt, and so I stopped wearing it. It was very sad and unfortunate. All right, so that seems loggy. I really don't know what's going on. Like, it really should be working. I wonder if this has to do with no, because the route should be going to whether we're in code or dev or anything else. It should still be working.
Okay, you go to the route, it's dead. Okay, so what's not running behind it?
Yeah, it really just doesn't want to do its thing.
Go to pod is running. Go to the logs
for the pod.
Yeah,
this is where I was looking a minute ago.
keeps changing ports. Starting reverse proxy, starting reverse proxy, starting reverse proxy.
So that might be an OJS thing.
Okay.
It tends to listen on multiple ports a lot of the time. I'm just trying to look at how it's, but no, it's just app.js. So it should be listening on port 3000. I wonder if this is it's not listening to all, whatever we call interfaces. So like if you're running this on localhost, but that seems like a weird example choice if that was true. Anybody know Node.js well enough to know off the top of their head? I think it's, oops.
Thank you, Tillmore. Someone asked where to go buy shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, apparently it's very hard to find. So what am I looking for? Oh, listen. Node.js, listen on all interfaces. So this is a typical thing where it's like, is it SE Linux or is it a firewall or is it you're not listening to all TCP/IP? Yeah, so this is what I was wondering. If you don't specify the host, we'll run on all interfaces. Okay, so it should be listening on all interfaces. That's what I was concerned about. I couldn't remember if Node.js, some of the languages default to only listening to localhost and some default to listening to everything. And I couldn't remember which one Node.js was. And so it is listening theoretically on all interfaces. So that should be right. Let's just see, what are all these containers? Let's go look.
What are these containers?
Oh, I wonder if it's angry because I was experimenting with something else in here.
Oh, yeah, you might be. That could be it.
I wonder if I did it. Let's go where I know I've never built anything. So we'll do a different project and see if wow, we're batting 1,000 today.
Oh yeah, striking right the F out.
I wonder what happens if I hit start debugging.
I have no idea.
All right, so because there was no choice,
it's slowing down. So let's think about this. How did you deploy it?
Well, that's the thing is, I don't know, because if I go to Code Ready Workspaces here, it's which project am I in?
Well, that's that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where's your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that a project in Workspaces or is that a project in
I think this is a project in Workspaces.
Okay.
And so
does it tie to
here we go.
Langdon code.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then so how do I make one in a different one, I wonder?
In a different namespace? You have to say different namespace somewhere.
Oh.
It's under code, says Martin Duffy.
It's under
code. It's under code. Where's
so? I didn't know Mo knew so much about Code Ready Workspaces. She clearly knows more than us.
Yeah.
And the worst part is I've actually played with this before and had much better luck.
I thought you would. The env is under the code name and the OpenShift UI.
Oh. Oops.
So there it is. Says it's running. And
well,
so
I wonder what this does. Now I'm curious. Oh, not the kind of private cloud I was thinking of.
No.
All right, so that's wrong. I wonder if I can just kind of change the YAML. Or
just start a new one in the right place, maybe.
Yeah, apparently Mo thought we were in the right place, but now I'm not seeing. All right, we can do registries. So apparently we should have had, we were going to try and get a guest to the show, but then we were like, yeah, we'll figure it out. So yeah, apparently I was wrong.
We needed a guest. So it's running in a workspace, and that workspace is tied to a OpenShift project, right?
Right. So that part seems correct.
Okay, you're in the Langdon code space, container creating.
Yep, because I just restarted it, which seems correct. I can't quite figure out how to tell Code Ready Workspaces to switch to using a different OpenShift namespace or OpenShift project.
Okay, so crap. Let me look.
And this seems like something I should be able to figure out.
So if you go into administration there on the left.
This one.
Yeah.
All right.
You can only add a registry. Okay, that's weird. Then workspaces. You should have 2 because you created 2 things. Don't know why that is, but whatever.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Code Ready up on my thing. And you just deployed a Node Express app? What did you deploy project-wise?
Oh yeah, Node. It was a Node.js Express starter project.
Got it. Okay. So I'm wondering if I'm in C# dev. Where does this end up? This ends up in C# code. Okay. Interesting. If I get it works on my machine, we're just going to switch cameras.
Exactly. That seems correct to me.
Chat here. This is high quality, says someone. Okay. Mo says there is add project in Code Ready Workspaces, but that's to add a Git repo. Yes, Code Ready Workspaces are bound in the projects, but those projects. So Mo says project in OpenShift appears to be namespace in Code Ready Workspaces. Okay. Interesting. I think the CRW IDE instance is bound to the OpenShift project itself, i.e. your CRW thing is in Langdon code already. That makes sense because it's in C# code already.
Right. And so I think the promotion kind of activity, right? Because the idea is code dev stage. I think that takes place in OpenShift land.
So the default app does not, yes, it creates a route, but there's nothing there. The application is not available for me as well. So did you put something that would make it display a page or something yet? Probably not.
Well, this should be showing a default, like at / it should be saying hello world. Yeah.
Okay. Let's make sure the route points to what?
So the route, I think, points to the service.
Service, yes. The Node.js service, which is running on server 3000.
The server, yep.
Okay. pod selector. I don't need that. Labels don't matter. Let's look at the YAML real quick.
And is there a pod that's actually doing something?
Yeah, like that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Like, so it's great that it's a service and it's up and running and it's supposed to be HTTP,
right?
Which it is, because it is responding. It's just responding with a 404 essentially. So I think you trying to switch anything like project and namespace and workspace and all that stuff, like it's in code. Like that's just where it starts, right?
Right.
CRW starts in the code namespace, which makes sense because all of your coders would live in the code project, right?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Is like I think the deployment or like the promotion activity is something that takes place in the OpenShift side, right, not in the Workspaces side, which makes sense to me. But I feel like we should be able to access.
I'm gonna go look at the pod real quick.
This one anyway.
Events.
Because the route is pointing at the service, but it just doesn't like it, and I'm not sure why.
Shell on inside the pod. PS even on this box. Nope. Never mind. Or pod. I say box, even though it's a container.
Yeah.
I can't get past that. It's still a box in theory, but like
it's like serverless.
I don't say container, I just say box, right? Like just like I would say VM, right?
Right.
It's weird. That's that. No, nothing. What do you got for me?
It really does seem like it should be working. I don't really know what the deal is. Okay. Clearly the thing I prepped to do was not this. So maybe I don't know if we should go play with that.
So Conan Kudo does point out that we do have a bunch of VS Code extensions, and one of them is for OpenShift. So if you were in your IDE outside of this box, you could use that connector to connect to this instance and use your IDE for everything that we're doing.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I have the extension installed because
NL Hackham says it's not specifying the port in the URL. No, it's not, because the route points to the service.
Right.
So that route is saying, hey, service, you're running on 3000. Great. I don't care. It's just going to create a link into that service, whatever port it's pointing on. So the routes are a little bit more than the ingress. Like they have a little bit more knowledge. So if you point a route to a service and the service is actively running and working, it should just work. Like hello world should show up, but it's not for some reason.
I mean, we could try it, but I don't think, I think it should just work.
I thought. Who knew?
So let me just get to the
workspace. Topology. Okay.
Thinking.
It's fully thinking and spun up. We have 10.
If this works, I'll be really annoyed.
Time. No, I'm still getting a 404.
All right, that looks like it's doing a straight up timeout rather than like this is an application error. This looks like it's getting a straight timeout. That's why it's taking so long.
Okay, so maybe you need to blow yours away. Start anew, maybe. Like it didn't deploy correctly or something.
I think I tried that already. I mean, I didn't try like killing the entire project, but I did try rebuilding the pod. Oops. So if you go here, can't we do delete?
We could always try a different thing too.
Well, that's what I was going to say was I was going to talk about Hugin there. But I was going to see if, kind of try this one last thing. But apparently we're going to need another episode about the sandbox where we spend some more time messing with it. Because I know how to get kind of in general, stuff working in OpenShift.
Mhm.
I think, and I've even used code-ready workspaces for it before. I'm not really sure why I'm having so much trouble. I think it's just, I don't know, something stupid.
Well, I think it's just they're like the environments you used to working in, Langdon, are like AWS,
Right.
large, like, RHPDS maybe, right? Where there's tons of capabilities and you can just find stuff super easy because you're like directly logged in. There is an abstraction here that we don't necessarily know about, right?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if it's that, although I still go back to it is highly likely that I'm an idiot and missing something really obvious.
That is entirely possible too.
So it could also be, it seems like maybe in the chat, some other people have been trying it, and
They've been getting
maybe,
like errors. Okay.
yeah, maybe Node is what's busted. I wonder if we could
If I need to
try
run this, attach to remote.
that
Yeah,
being the problem.
I'm actually going to do the debug. It says attached to remote is running. I hit refresh on this page. Nope, 404. Okay, that sucks. Oh, cannot connect runtime process timeout 10,000 milliseconds. That's connection refused error. Interesting. Okay, so this might have been the wrong thing to use. If you notice, your workspace has an error top line.
Uh-huh. So maybe it was just this
particular thing, which kind of stinks.
Yeah, I hate that.
The app.js file should just be hello world.
So if we
okay, so that's a like thing we need to go back to the team with and be like, hey, this doesn't do what it says it's supposed to do right out of the box.
Right. Yeah. So what if what I'm not sure of is how do
try a Helm, like pull in a Helm chart for something, or something crazy like that.
And this one doesn't want to let me delete it because it's just because it's running. Yeah, so I was going to try to, but I wanted to kind of get some of the stuff out of the way.
Just add another workspace, pull it in,
all right, so add workspace. No, we don't want to do it that way. We want to do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like go to the
project. And then I don't know, Python? Or did you have something in mind? Or?
Like go back to OpenShift itself and do an add right above. Yeah. And like just pull in a Helm chart somewhere or operator backed, anything.
Let's see. Do we see any cool Helm charts in here?
Quarkus.
Here's another Node.js one.
Try the Quarkus one.
All right, let's try Quarkus. I don't think I've ever run anything.
Like read the never mind. I was gonna say read the documentation first.
What? Have you met me?
So you need a pull secret, right?
Oh,
prerequisite to this. So this is not like a great thing for us to try out.
Yeah. That's, I mean, it's a little bit of the problem with the oh look, Node.js though does not require anything.
Okay. So
all right, I'm trying to
do something in Python. Smile says.
All right, let's try it this way and see if it was purely the Node.js one that was angry.
Yeah.
Let's make sure this is our new Python one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't.
JP Dade says, they have the nicotine patches. They need to invent a caffeine patch. Agreed. I'm sure there is one somewhere though.
Well, I mean, isn't that what like NoDoz is?
Well, yeah, kind of, but that's like, well, it is just a caffeine pill. Yeah.
I like the coffee though.
Mo says, so in code-ready workspaces, on the right-hand panel, there's a 3D cube icon. You click on run web app and you get the errors. Okay, good point. Cannot find express module. Yeah, like there's something wrong with that setup dealio.
JP Dade says RTFM.
Yes.
That's how you can tell that I think JP Dade comes from an administrator background,
right?
Whereas I come from a developer background where it's just like, whatever, wing it.
So just to, for everybody's awareness, RTFM is kind of being considered a, not inclusive term anymore.
Wait, it was ever?
No, it was never an inclusive term. Because let's face it, right? Like open the man page for Git on 3 different systems,
I thought you meant
and it's
the F
probably
part.
different. Well, that, yes, but like I'm talking about the actual manuals are often like either A, there's so many different manuals you don't know which version to pick from, or B, the manual is your documentation, which is probably not up to date. So like,
although
RTFM,
I thought one of the things that was really interesting that came up in the subscription show last time was the suggestion that if you ever want to go take one of the certifications, don't study for it using web browsers. Study for it using like man pages, and basically only things you can get to from the command line.
Right.
Which that would, I don't know that would have occurred to me, but I thought that was a really brilliant recommendation.
For all of our courses, like when I have ever taken a Red Hat exam, I have always said, here's my VM. Here, like I try to recreate the, quote, classroom environment that we would have. So like it would be like a VM with just the packages installed that would be installed on the node in the classroom. Obviously, you have to know that. But like for Ansible, it's really simple. It's just Ansible. And you have docs and man pages for Ansible that are available to you, including a full HTML version. If you go look and find it in the right place, you can pull that up and click around and you're good. All right, so hello world.py. If you run it, what happens? Hello world, that's good. So now make that happen in OpenShift.
A website. This is just a print your, like, is it going to make a route? Like, what is this going to do?
Click on it and it's a pod. Does it have a service? We can make a route for it.
No routes.
No routes.
Because there's nothing listening. There's no web server here.
No, well, go back. What were all those services then?
The project created the service. Oh no, these are the Node.js. No, are these the Node.js ones? It's on the same
JWT proxy. Like,
oh no, you know what this
point
is?
A route to that.
No, these are, or I think these are the code ready workspaces services to do loop backing on debugging.
Oh, that would make sense. So it's actually running the stuff that's in here.
Right.
So the question
like,
is, can you make a new service and then point a route to it?
But there's no server to go to is the problem.
Right. That's what we have to get to, right? Like,
no. Like there's no, Python is not listening on any port or anything else. It's literally
I know.
Oh,
right. Like you'd have to drop in like a code snippet or something for like,
right.
As HTTP on port, whatever, and then create that service and then point a route to that service and hopefully it works.
All right. We'll get Conan Kudo to type something in the command line that will give me a quick and easy web server.
Python web server.
Like I probably could. Here we go. Is this Microsoft? Oh God, I thought that would have been hilarious.
No, it's MDN. Oh, we landed on the same page. Look at that.
Oh, right. We could do
Python 3-m http.server or Python m-simples http server.
But it's got to be.
It would have to be another pod,
right? Or we'd have to do it like what we want to do is kind of. I mean, we could shell execute to Python. We also need to do it to. So what is it? Import. There we go. I think this will work.
So yeah, like, are you pulling in Flask or something? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh boy. Nope. And then I think it's like, let's see, it should be
Python
server.
Coders of the Universe Unite.
As we talked about with Dan Walsh, nobody ever actually writes any code. This is what I was looking for.
There you go.
Yeah. This should work. Let's make this
just all you have to do is
9,000.
remember the point. Yeah. Just remember the port number.
So yeah, I just want to make sure it's service. Like nice and non-collidey.
Yeah.
All
right.
So that should work. And let's say, I wonder if I never clicked start without debugging. I wonder if it was somehow like not running or something.
Right. Well, it would have been an error somewhere that we would have seen in OpenShift.
So it just queried me over here on
redirect is now enabled. External URL is
right.
Blah 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 blah. Go ahead, open it. You're ridiculous. Come on. There it is, folks.
Kinda.
No, that's not the Python app at all. That's a directory.
Yeah, that's literally the directory extension. All right, but it is listening. Okay. Theoretically on port 9000. Okay, so that part we should be able to fix
back
if it made a route.
No, so it's not going to make a route. We have to make the route ourselves.
I thought what I was agreeing to in Code Ready Workspaces there was to for it to make a route.
Well, go back up, scroll up on the right hand side there. Scroll back up. Oh wow. Hit actions.
Yeah. And then it's
not add health check. Oh, it's not in there. Okay, cool.
It's somewhere. I was looking at this the other day. I think I actually filed a bug about this. That there should be an add route here, and there isn't.
Well, you have to have a service first, I think. That's serving the
probably
Python hello world. So you need to go in and say,
is there an add service
view?
No, find that.
You have to go into admin, add a service. It would be under workloads, I think.
Network? Sorry, yeah.
Here. There you go. Never mind.
And so create. Whoa, I don't want to do that. I want to add a route. Let's see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Let's try Python HTTP. And no path. And I think you can do. Oh, fail! I totally thought you could.
You have to create a service first.
You were right. I thought we could do it.
So what you have to do is say, like, just do all this. This is fine, you know.
Oh wait, no, this is external, right? And then this is internal.
This is internal, yeah. So your 9,000 goes there. I mean, if you want to name it something other than example, you know, whatever.
Oh wait, no.
You need something from VS or not VS Code, Code Ready Workspaces.
But what's the selector going to be?
Go. Do you have another tab with the dev view?
That's what I was going to do.
There you
go. Oh, there it goes. I thought it was just blank white, but there is a little like dealio happening there.
Oh, okay.
And then this.
That's just the name. There's the pod selectors right there. So I would think it'd be one of those, but maybe not. No, definitely not that, because that's the Code Ready Workspace part. This is weird. No offense to everybody that's worked on this. This is weird. Resources. So if we're creating a service.
This is to the.
Go to the YAML. Yeah. All right. So annotations, scroll down. No, this is the workspace crap still. Never mind. I want to see the pod stuff.
Right.
Like the actual working pod that should now be running.
Right. Because I mean, we see it here, right?
Right. But it's running in CRW, not necessarily in OpenShift.
Right. So is it
being exposed somehow? I don't know.
That's kind of where. Like, is there like, I was thinking there'd be like a deploy button.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about Code Ready Workspaces, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sadly. I totally thought I had done this before, but maybe I might have only used it local, like on like Podman rather than through OpenShift.
Okay. So we do need to get a CRW expert on the show.
I think so. I think we should probably call it a day because we have done.
You
terribly.
got points to do, buddy.
Yeah. And we're already
Let's
over
finish
time.
on a high note. Points already.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, trying to find the right window. So, well, actually, one of the things I wanted to bring up is
gave it the good old college try.
Was we have had a lot of guests on the show lately, and do we like having lots of guests, or do we also want to do more of this craziness? Normally, we do a better job, I think. We
should have a feedback form for the show.
We could have. In fact, we do. It's on GitHub, where you can file issues, or maybe we should do a separate form. So JP Dade says we should definitely have a CRW expert.
Did you expose it? No.
No,
yes.
so I don't. But there's no running. We couldn't find a running pod of the code, so we think that the pod is running over in. The container at least is running over in CRW, and I don't think we told CRW to push the container into OpenShift. Even
what the real question is JP Dade a CRW expert, and could we just bring him on?
Right, exactly. Detective Konakudo points out that he likes to see Langdon in particular fail at things.
Well, he said and Chris Short.
Yes. And especially where I am bad at. And he feels better about being bad at OpenShift. Usually I'm a little bit better.
Yeah,
this is you're
you must be off your game today or something, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I have an excuse. I burned the shit out of myself. Sorry for my language. I burned the bejesus out of myself literally right before the show making coffee. So
yeah.
I could not prep because I was tending to wounds. And JP Dade is not a CRW expert, so we'll find our own.
All right. Well, we will revisit this and do a better job next time. I really thought I was going to have because I had actually prepped with this project called Hugin, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
Which is if this then that for that you can kind of deploy yourself. And I thought the only problem I was running into was basically manipulating a database, but I think it was actually way worse than that. So
yes. Looking at the template you deployed, it was
well, and I think the other thing is one of the real values of the Developer Sandbox is actually getting code-ready workspaces. And I didn't really think about that until we started talking about it on the show. And I have not done a whole lot of experimentation.
JP Dad says you got it running somehow. So feel free to
see. Yeah.
Show us in an issue or PR or something.
Yeah.
If you want a PR in how you did it, just literally 5 bullet list or whatever. Yeah.
All right. Points.
Anyways, points.
So as kind of expected, NeuroDev, up another 100 points. Netherlands Hackham up another 100 points. Noah Friction, I think, also up another 100 points. I think Joe Fuzz did not do the last show. I think it was somebody did not go up, which I was a little surprised by. Detective Konakudo had a big jump because he hit one of the risers. And shout out JP Dade. I also love Visual Studio Code. I think it's a really good IDE. I really expect to see it to be the winner. And then Bacon Fork, who I just saw tell me that I should go make another pot of coffee, which I completely agree with. I'm gonna do the same. Is also still definitely in the running. So you should get your, I guess, escalator is a good word for it, or riser if you come from a sales background. But basically, if you hit a certain number of episodes, you get bonus points, is basically what it boils down to. Yeah. So if you want today's points, I just put the links in the chat.
Thank you.
And through the magic of Restream, we should be getting those to go across. And I don't know. Let's
wow,
it's been a while since we failed so nicely on the show.
Yeah.
So it brings us back to our roots. But
so JP actually had to have a persistent volume claim, and put it in a separate namespace, and it started working.
Oh, weird. Yeah, like I
Okay.
said, I
Yeah,
still
I need
think
to figure
I'm not.
that out.
I'm clicking some button. I'm not clicking some stupid button that is
Anyways,
making it not work.
we'll debug that. We'll get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
cleaned up, and
exactly.
we'll bring on a CRW expert to teach us a little bit more about it. How about that?
Well, and I think one of the things would be important is, you know, if anybody else on the show or anybody in the audience can experiment with it as well, I think it would be really great to give some feedback to the CRW folks because I know they don't get a whole lot, you know, and so if we can kind of tell them our experience with it, that kind of thing, we can, you know, make the product better. So that's our show.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in to watch us fall flat on our face.
Yeah.
If you want to watch potentially more face falling, you can tune in here at 11 Eastern or 1600 UTC for Ask an OpenShift Admin. We'll be talking about etcd, which is kind of like the beating heart of Kubernetes. So if you want to see a bunch of epic failures happen, we're going to mess around with that.
Well, I thought actually specifically, I thought you were going to talk about how to deal with etcd failure.
Right, exactly.
Fact,
like
right?
Andrew has this could turn into multiple shows because the
ways etcd
the outline I saw yesterday before I like logged off for the day was already up to 3 pages. So yeah, it could be a multi-episode thing. So yeah,
right.
Definitely stay tuned in for the channel. We'll be digging into etcd. OpenShift Commons is bringing us. Oh come on, work. Is bringing us talking about security across multi and hybrid clouds. And then later today on the Red Hat Enterprise Linux Presents, we'll be talking about migrating to RHEL. And that'll be it for the channel today.
And so just remember,
full lineup.
No episode next week, but then we'll be doing Podman V3 the week after. So
which will be awesome.
Which is March 24th.
Yes.
So we look forward to y'all coming back.
Yes. And we'll find a CRW expert.
Exactly. All right,
y'all. Thanks. We appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned and we'll be back with more fun stuff. Bye, y'all.